are these local-ass bitches?
On today's show, the bitches sit down with friend Brian Picl to discuss all things local-ass bitch. Listen in as they talk about the anniversary of Kurt Cobain's death and the effects of Scientology on your pocketbook if you're not Tom Cruise. Rosa wants to know who the hell marries Bijou Phillps, while Manny shares his insights on how to reconnect with the innate functions of the human metabolism. Lisa tells of the time she actually went quiet, and Nora's dating site message has a fancy Frasier feel to it. You are listening to the Local Ass Bitches podcast. Without further ado,
I'm Lisa.
I'm Manny.
I'm Rosa.
I'm Nora.
Welcome
to the lab. Hey everyone, welcome back to the lab.
Hello.
Hey, welcome. You're listening to Local Ass Bitches podcast. This is episode 20. Wow. We made it to 20. Wow. I know.
Our
I wish I was 20
almost
again.
old enough to drink.
Well, we were drinking when we were 20. Yeah. I spent my 19th birthday in a bar. Yes. On a bar stool. Kid you not. Yeah.
Wow.
We were going to bars like even before then, and then by the time we were 21, it got boring, and then I didn't want to go anymore. You know what I mean? I was like, this is stupid.
I was like, let's switch to pot. You can do that anywhere. I don't have to fucking go to a bar for that shit.
Yeah, and we're coming up for our last podcast with Cooper.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Cooper S. Beckett, in his new book. Check it out if you haven't heard the podcast. He writes all about polyamory, and he's the queen of all, or the king.
Yes.
I always call myself
Maybe
the
a little
queen,
both.
but
He's
the
fine.
king. He's
Of
the king
everything not yet.
Polyamory.
Yeah. So he was approaching the swingularity. I love that title. That's the title of the book.
I'm almost done.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
I'm almost done. I'm like page
I'm like trying to
460 of 486. I'm
Oh,
almost done.
jeez.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's a feat for me.
Yeah.
But it was about sex, so I kept reading.
April 18th it releases. It's almost coming up. I can't believe it's going to be the middle of April.
Right.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You can find it on CooperSBeckett.com.
Yeah. And we have another guest joining us this week as well. We're very excited about. He's a cool-ass dude extraordinaire, conversator, and a connoisseur of language. Please welcome to the show, Mr. Brian Picl.
Thank you very much for having me.
Welcome.
And Twitter handle is Brian Picl, right?
That's correct.
Brian Picl.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to the show, send him a little message on the little Twitter machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know how we're doing. You can talk shit about us. That's all right.
That's okay.
Yeah. We've got thick skin. We're good. I mean, growing up in ethnic households, you
Yes.
have like a thick skin, right?
And in Chicago, in Hickags.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Burbank on the south side, so like 79th and Cicero.
Oh,
Yeah.
Southsider.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's also so you know.
A lot of fist fights for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like shameless.
Yeah, I remember in grade school there was a fist fight every day after school.
Yeah,
It was
That
like
was the
3
fight.
o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to fight.
Yeah. And then they would always announce it, like everybody would know who was fighting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then you'd go and then the principal would show up.
Hey, Mr. Tactile!
Oh God, he was all over the place, man. He
Yeah.
was like up in everybody's business.
He had to be, I guess.
Yeah.
But I think it's so funny that people from the suburbs have a thicker Chicago accent than like
Yes.
people
Yeah,
from
they
Chicago.
do. They do.
I hear that all the time, and I don't quite get it, but
Yeah,
It's
me
true.
either.
Like,
I
think
love it. I think it's
sausage
great.
in the- oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it's like
I love
8.
coffee, sausage,
Yeah.
Passage.
Like-
Yeah.
Beer.
Begins with a C, ends with an O, with a hick egg in the middle.
That was from Saturday Night Live. Da Bears.
Yeah,
that was
Da
the
Bears.
Da Bears.
Ditka.
Ditka. Yeah, that was it.
And I never thought we had an accent.
Right.
But once you go out of Chicago, people are like, where are you
Yes.
from?
Yeah.
And I hear it with myself. Sometimes I say
people
something.
ask you what
Yeah, for sure. When I lived in
yeah.
Europe, people were like, where the hell are you from?
And sometimes I'll say something. I'll be like at the gas station. I'm like,
The
did you hear
gas
how I just said gas station? Like, oh my God.
Like you had a dip song. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Exactly.
My sister, she's hilarious. She's got the best accent. She's so like, I'm gonna get a sandwich.
sing.
Sandwich.
I always get that. We talk incredibly fast, more than
Yes.
the actual accent itself. Is I could tell you're from Chicago because you're speaking a mile a minute.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, it's not necessarily because they're Italian or because,
Yeah.
like, I
Because
thought it was more.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's the surrounding people that are more slow, like Michigan or Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
They talk like a lot slower, and we're because I remember growing up, like I don't remember people being all slow in school.
You don't think about
the
it. Like
Dominicans of the Midwest?
No, but do you remember, like, in grammar school, like, people that were native
sometimes
Chicagoans?
like slow-minded too. Like,
Yeah.
some other people, like you're like,
Like,
you'll like
I'm
say
like,
something,
oh my
and then
God.
like, oh my god, this is like such a pet peeve.
Yeah.
Like,
What,
when
if
you're like,
somebody needs to process something? Because
Yeah.
I need to process.
I don't think, no, it's not the
like
same.
that.
It's not
This
the
is
same.
like the stupidest shit.
Yeah.
This is sort of like, oh yeah, the McDonald's drive-thru, it's like crazy, you know? And they're like, yeah, you know, it's like super crazy. And then it's like flowing, and you're like, yeah, like at 7 o'clock in the morning, it's like crazy. But you know, like 1 o'clock is like not that bad.
And then they're just like,
It's like that silence. I'm like, what are you contemplating? Oh my god, it's
I only go to McDonald's drive-thru at noon. I don't
It's
know what
so
you're talking about.
annoying.
I've never been
And they
exactly
just,
to
like, that's a
Sunset
good point.
1.
Yeah, they just stay quiet. Like normally, like hello, verbal cues. You just be like, yeah, so you know you understood.
Your turn.
right.
Now you go.
Oh my god! Yeah, sometimes I'm like at a loss, you know. But like New York, I'm totally like fine. Like they talk very fast, you know, and they're loud. You know what I mean? Like here, not necessarily people are loud and loud. You know what I mean? So over
But
there,
it's not people that grew up.
no, I
were
told
born
you that.
here, I
Not
don't
the
think.
Chicago natives. That doesn't happen. No matter what part of the city you're from, they're not like that. It's from surrounding places. I've noticed. Yeah,
They're just like
It's
like
it's
Yeah,
probably
for the
slower
best, though.
paced. You know, I'm thinking maybe like
I
our
think they
lives
have
are
it
more
right.
fast paced.
Yeah.
maybe that's what it is.
That's what it is. That's what I was going to mention. Like, you go up north, even just like, I would stop and get my fishing license.
Yes.
And the 3 people in front of me, they have to have a 20-minute conversation
Oh my
with,
god.
with the the cashier
Jesus.
every time.
And we're like, oh my god.
And you're
hurry
just
up.
like, Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
let's go. And it's probably it's probably better their way of
Yeah.
life at the end of the day. though.
Right.
They're like more
That's
calm.
true.
They don't have
Yeah.
anxiety.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're all like
Right.
riddled with anxiety.
Yeah.
We're super anxious.
What's going on?
We're like, come on.
So we're coming off of, having Cooper on the show, and we just thought we'd kind of talk about that a little bit. Brian, we want to get your opinion. What's your opinion on
Yeah.
I'm sure.
polyamory and non-monogamous relationships? It's something that we've all kind of talked about. We've all kind of understood the different angles. We've all been maybe involved or are involved with people who have been open, and we can understand it, not necessarily be fully immersed in it, but understand it. So, what's your take?
My take has always been I've always thought maybe I have a bit of like a poly side to
Yeah.
myself, but I've never been in a situation where the other person, not only wanted to be open, but then was open. So in my mind, it's always like, I don't know, like I can't just like, settle down with one person and I have all these desires. Like I just want to be myself, be like, just be a human. And that's great while you're the one that's doing that. But I've never encountered, the other person doing that. And I think that's one of those things you don't know how you're going to handle until you're there.
That's the thing I think. And to broach the subject with somebody.
Well,
That's probably what it is. Like if you don't know how they feel about it.
Well, the sooner you can do it, the better.
Yeah.
It has
Because
it has to be.
Yeah.
once you get into like a long-term relationship and then you address it later in the relationship, it's going to be a lot harder. And that's what I found out from people that like do it 5 years or 7 years into the relationship.
And people do it. They'll open up a
we
relationship.
talked about it on our second date.
Wow.
That was
I had never
early.
been in an open relationship or anything, and neither had he.
Right.
Well, we had both had these experiences that were kind of leading us to it, and then on the second day we sort of talked about it, and we were both open to it.
Right. And then just went from there.
And then we were monogamous for a while after that, but we at least talked about it as something that we just said, you're not the last person I want to have sex with ever.
Right. So you can
that's
revisit
all.
it later.
And we're
And
gonna
I think
revisit it
that's
once we're
important.
ready.
Like, okay, establish a bond. See if this
Yeah, you
person's
gotta
right for
create the
you,
connection.
like, internally, like, with your heart and your mind. And then, like, acknowledge the fact that physically that's something different. That's another lane sometimes, Like, one person cannot fulfill all of your sexual fantasies at all times.
Right.
Or, depends. There are some people that just want to have vanilla sex. Good for you.
Exactly.
That's fine. That's great. If that's your...
That's your path. Like that's what you're.
If that's what you like, that's what you're comfortable with, then fine. But, there are some of us that want to do more. And so that's really interesting. Because nowadays, I think a lot of people, because of dating sites and stuff, a lot of people are very open or they have so many options.
Yes.
They're creating their own kind of combination of what they want.
Like what it means for them. Like what they're,
right.
For better and for worse.
Yeah, true.
I explain it in terms of like economics, the whole like internet app, dating thing. Whereas like, now we have a vast amount of resources. Resources aren't scarce anymore, right? But we have the same marketplace as far as, every person is still trying to find one other person, right? So in terms of economics, like when you have vast resources aren't scarce anymore. What that generally does to prices of a product is that it drops the price of a product. It literally cheapens the experience.
It does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I call it chewing gum dating. Like, once it loses the flavor, it loses the flavor, spit it out.
And that's why I removed myself. I'm like, I'm done. This is fucking
I think that's
bullshit.
what made
I'm
me get
so
tired of it.
done. People just being really superficial or pretending that they're deeper than they are, and then it really being like, oh, well, I'm going to flick you off like a booger. Like, really? Like, we just talked about all this shit. Like, all of a sudden, you're like, on to the next one, which is fine.
Right, but I was just
Everyone
like,
has the power of choice.
Right.
But I'm just more
For
human
me.
about it. Like, I like to have a connection. I like to talk to people. I like to be able to know them as, humans.
person.
As
Yes,
a person.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely,
an
me too.
individual person, not necessarily a
And
blanket.
because there's so much volume, it's hard to do. Like, you're just getting so much thrown at you all the
Yes.
time.
Yep.
Volume. It's
Right.
like you almost have to pick and choose, and then you have to, like, pick winners and losers, and it's just hard to...
And then you almost think, like, what the fuck? Like, where are these people coming up with their shit? And so, and that probably brings us to my message
Our
of
first
the day.
segment, the message of the week.
So I had one, this person liked me, and I've since closed my account, but the opening line was, just the gentleman tucking a napkin into his collar at the butthole buffet.
Oh, it's awesome.
I mean, A+ for originality.
manners.
Yeah, for manners, for tucking your napkin. And if
It's like
there's
a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
I mean, we talked about, in episode 8, we talked about the ass man profile. That's the best profile ever that ever existed
It
on
was
the face
very
of this
involved.
earth.
Very involved.
And Brian, I'm not sure if you heard, but it's a man who talked about, and we're assuming it's a man, we don't know.
Right, because it didn't say.
It didn't say, identified as a man, but it was basically like all this person wanted to do was eat ass.
Yes.
He got a passport to eat exotic ass.
Right.
On his off time, he practiced on an ass. It was like, no matter what, like, I will do anything you want me to do. I will go to yoga with you. I will go to your parents' party. As long as on, like, the third day, I get to eat your ass.
What platform was this?
It was on
OkCupid. I
Oh,
love
okay.
OkCupid.
That was his profile, right?
Yeah.
That was his
That's
profile.
awesome.
Yeah.
At least he's honest.
Exactly.
You know
He
exactly
was very.
what he's delivering.
And
Yeah.
he elaborated. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's like, and I am not messing around.
Like,
Like,
he really
I
got
don't
into
want
it.
just like my tongue in there for a second. Like,
Right.
you better be like
He's
ready.
very
Have my
descriptive.
ass,
Yeah.
my tongue in your ass for a long time. I was
But that was going to bring me to the point of when we were talking about the internet dating is a lot of people just aren't honest about what they want.
That's
and
true.
that's for me the biggest hang up with everything.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people maybe are just playing the field or maybe they have a poly side of them.
But say.
But they want to play.
Yeah.
Like, oh, well, we'll be boyfriend and girlfriend. And then,
Things go south.
and then you lose, it loses the flavor. Yeah.
That's true, because I think that a lot of women nowadays, I think it depends on the age range. There's
Right.
younger girls who think they have pushed on them these societal, parameters that say you have to do this at this age.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I mean, there's a flip side to that because we were talking about how younger kids are more open.
Yes.
But I think still the majority are like, you need to,
By the time you're
court
30,
me.
yeah.
You have
Get married.
You got to give me a ring, and we have to have babies, and I just think that's ridiculous, to be honest. But again, I've been through that already. I've been through the being married and having kids, and I wouldn't change that for the world.
Right. And for some people, like, it happens and it's a natural progression of their relationship. Hey, that's cool. You want to be monogamous? That's awesome. But I hear people say this stuff like, I'm 30 years old. It's time for me to not have this haircut anymore. It's time for me to get married. It's time for me, like, I have to have kids. I'm like,
Right, I have to change who I am.
Yeah.
Right, like, so I was talking to somebody recently, like, because, I used to have a nose ring, remember?
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, I miss it. And I'm like,
get
I
it
can't.
again. What?
And I'm like, I can't because I'm old. And I can't do it because it'll look stupid.
Get a stud.
But still, I just feel like all of a sudden I'm going to show up with a stud at work or whatever.
I love studs.
Me too.
Yeah. Hey.
Well, you know what I said? Because my sister, she's a hairdresser now, and I've been entertaining the idea of going short in my hair. I'm telling you, I'm gonna hit 50.
Like Janet from Three's Company.
I'm totally gonna be like the side head shave. I'm gonna do like all this crazy
totally.
shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I didn't do it when I was younger. Like, I'm gonna end up doing it later, like tattoo. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
thinking about getting a tattoo. Like,
Oh,
this.
yeah?
Have?
Now, what kind of tattoo would you
Dad.
get if you got a tattoo?
I wanted it like between my shoulders shoulder blades, and it was kind of like, you know, the Sicilian Trinarchia?
Yeah.
You know, like but not the three-legged guy.
Yeah, because that guy's weird. That guy's kind of like fucking Zelda.
It is a third leg, correct?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and then Rosa's like afraid of it, but something,
Yeah, I'm afraid of it too.
but something like nodding to that symbol, like it'll be like kind of like it, like something maybe that I'll make up, or you know what I mean, something like that. I've been thinking about that like forever. Like actually, Bill, remember from my old band, like he actually drew up a couple things. I still have like some of the drawings, but you know me, it doesn't necessarily take me 2 days to like do something. It takes me years,
Takes her like years, and years and years.
But I'm telling you, one day I'm gonna get it. I'll probably be like 60, but I'm gonna fucking do it.
That's awesome. What would you get, Manny?
You know what? I like tattoos on people. I just have never craved one on myself.
Yeah.
Just, no.
I'm dying to
There's
get
nothing
one
that I
right
was like,
here.
That's another spot on my forearm.
I love that.
So I
That's
can see it all the
beautiful.
time.
Right.
Yeah, because back there I'm not going to be able to see it. Like it'll just be like, you know, if you have a tank top, people will see it like that. And you know, if I look in the mirror, but to have it here would be nice. You know,
I like
so you
ones
can see
that are
outside.
original, that like people kind of like put a lot of thought to, you know.
Yeah.
They all have to be personal, I think, because that's what I
It's on
tell
there
my
forever.
daughter. Like, it has to mean something to you.
Yes.
Don't get a fucking pizza slice. You know, that's bullshit. You know, if you're gonna get something that's gonna be on the rest of your body, it has to mean something to you. And all my tattoos came from, you know, dark times in my life or transitions, and you know, I think that's really important to mark something that was important to you.
Right.
You know, my next one actually, I want it on my forearm, and I want it to represent all of us, and I want it to be like birds on a wire.
Oh, that's awesome!
Yeah, and like everyone.
It's gonna be so pretty.
Yeah, so
just be
stay
prepared though, because you want it to have meaning though, especially if you put it on your forearm.
Yes.
People are gonna ask you every
They do.
day,
They do.
and then you're gonna have to get into some deep stuff.
Yeah, if it's really deep.
On my forearm, I have the chemical symbols for.
I saw that. I like tattoos like that.
Cool.
I want something like that.
It's dopamine and serotonin, which are the chemicals for happiness. And I did this at a time when I was completely sober, and I did this to remind myself that everything I need to feel happy is already inside my body. But you be prepared to explain that to somebody standing in line at the liquor store. Yes. Ironically enough, as I'm standing there with like a bottle of scotch in my hand, like, I don't know, man, like I have everything in me to get happy. Oh, can I get a pack of Newports? So just be
It's a struggle, man.
Yeah.
A struggle every day.
Yeah.
it could be like Sebastian Maniscalco. It's like, it's not finished.
It's not
Snake.
Oh, when he's talking about the
Wrap
snake, he's like, yeah, the snake wraps around my crotch and it tickles my nipple. It's
gonna say
And then he said, it's like I love when he does like that voice of like, you know, this highly inquisitive person. It's like, excuse me, what is the significance of that tattoo? What's the significance? Because everybody always asks that.
Yeah.
Sebastian Maniscalco, look him up.
Oh my god.
I'll like think about it, but I'll never ask somebody. You know.
Well, in conversation, I don't know if I would like at Jewel. You know what I mean? Like if I saw, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
If I was intimate with somebody, I would.
It could, like you said, it could represent like a dark time in their life. You know, so if it's one of your clients, it could, you know.
Yeah. Right.
But you know, it could also connect. You know, you can connect with
Exactly.
them. You're interested in them
Exactly.
in that way.
I always get the you must be really interested in chemistry thing.
Yeah.
Like I get sure. That's easier than what I was gonna have to say anyways.
It's like,
I'll just say
I like
yes.
Breaking Bad.
I'm totally
Yeah.
Walter White.
That's what I get all the time. I will clarify, like, it's not illegal. It's not some Breaking Bag. This isn't the symbol for THC, you know?
So funny.
Yeah.
I love it.
Remember, that was like such a big thing when we were growing up. People were like THC, like
Yeah.
On the slide.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like no one knows about it because you know we're cool.
420.
Yeah, 420, man. Oh my god.
Well, that actually kind of gets to my segment a little bit, like being inebriated and stuff. Okay.
What?
Now, I don't know if I... Please forgive
What do
me.
we call this segment?
Oh.
This is Joanne's word for
Oh, Lisa.
Lisa. I think she called to get my story time because I'm always telling stories. So this is kind of like, you know, it was natural for me to have this segment. We just made it like more formal because I'm always fucking telling stories. But this particular one, please forgive me if I have said this before, like in past episodes, because we are at number 20. Like now thinking
we
back.
don't, and we're fucking beach. We don't remember shit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I told this one yet. I do have two of them. One of them I know we have touched on, but I don't know if we ever went into like detail. But this one is when I was in Beneath the Stairs, and we went.
Which was a band that you were in.
Yes. Progressive rock. Progressive rock band. So we had gone. It was this club in the suburbs, and I think we were in Elgin or something. I don't know what the fuck they did, but like, okay, so especially on a show night, I'm totally like Rick James, Dave Chappelle, like, I got a show tonight. Like, I can't, like, whatever. I can't be, like, completely
I watch it, like, look, this is like you. It's like, I got a show tonight.
Yeah, because I can't. Like, everything is all about the show. Yeah, it's like you can't, like, make too many appointments. You can't be too fucked up. Like, all that stuff.
It's you.
Well, it's not like you get inebriated anyway.
Exactly. But even still, like, sometimes, especially because sometimes you find yourself being pretty tipsy.
Would it be like a coincidence? Like, all of a sudden, like, you're drinking because you don't drink.
Let me tell you what the fuck happened. So, actually, thankfully, this was after the show. So, we, went on stage. Everything was fine. Everything was great. Afterwards, we were still hanging out, watching other people. And Bill was there, and, like, Eric, all that stuff. Like, we're all there. And
these are the band members,
The
right?
band members, yes. So, we're going to the bar, and I swear to God, I think I had a shot, and then I think it was a shot earlier in the night, vodka, maybe, I think it was like a shot of vodka, and then beer. Like, I always have, like, Blue Moon, like something, Toward the end of the night, we got White Russians. I swear to God, I had one, okay?
Me too, I think.
Yeah.
I had a lot of shit.
Well, she had other stuff, too.
Rosa's just like, Rosa's more the, like, just give me everything.
Yeah. Yes, Long Island iced tea. That's like her thing. So, dude, okay, I had this White Russian. This was at the end. This was before we were going to leave. I mean, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. This is later. I don't know what the fuck happened, but I was like, bleh. I was so drunk. Like, probably one of the drunkest nights I've ever had in my life.
And I wasn't there. This is fucking
The White Russian. I don't know what the fuck it was, and I was like, holy shit, I am fucking drunk. Like, and then, thank God we were driving that night, because we ended up driving. We were either going to go with Eric or Bill. So then Bill, and us, like, we're very chatty. We talk all the time. So finally, we get in the car, and I mean, I seriously was having, like, tunnel vision. Like, I was like, holy shit. Then Bill said to me, he said, man, you guys really fucking scared me last night. You guys were quiet as mice. You didn't say shit. He's like,
I've never experienced that with Lisa. I've known Lisa since I was 9 years old.
Yeah.
I'm 41 now.
Exactly.
She's never been quiet.
Exactly. And that's what he said. You guys scared me. I felt like, man, do we have to go to the ER? Like, what's going on? Like, yeah, we were fucked up. And Rosa was like, they slipped something in her drinks, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, why? Why the fuck would somebody do that?
If
like,
you were
it's
getting ready to leave.
Exactly. Like, if
Well, they didn't know that.
I mean, that's just fucking
Did you leave your
weird.
drink unattended anytime?
I don't think I did, but Rosa was saying, she's like, maybe it was cheap spirits. Because sometimes that could, like, mess with you. Like,
Grain alcohol or something.
Yeah. Like,
Especially as you get older, that stuff affects you more.
that was so fucking weird. Never in my life have I had a situation
That's what
like
Dad
that.
was saying. It's like the cheap, like, alcohol gives
Moonshine,
you, like,
yeah.
really bad
Drunks.
drunk and bad hangover.
So, folks, the message of the day is, if you want to get Lisa to be quiet,
Carry Rohypnol.
Exactly, I'll be like totally mom. Mom's the word. Oh my God. And the other story, just real quick, because Rosa reminded me of this today, was Nora and Caesar the hairdresser.
oh my
yeah, that has got to be.
seriously? I was thinking about my hair trauma the other day because Madeline put on Black Number. And I was like, oh my God, a tribute to Nice and Easy. That's my style.
Yes!
Blue Black.
That's what it always reminds me
Black,
of.
black, 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 black. Yeah.
Awesome. The Caesar hairdresser story has got to.
Well, he was-
Who
okay.
is Caesar, by the way?
Yeah.
the most epic name for a hairdresser ever, let's just add.
And he had the attitude to go with it, for sure.
Well, that's why I was like, he's gotta be good. His name's Caesar.
Caesar the hairdresser.
Yeah.
Oh my
He was
God.
gay before anybody was gay.
Yeah, he was like the first gay.
Oh my God. And then my hairdresser, Jim, which I love. I mean, I saw him for years and years and
Jim.
years. Yes. And they were like, it was like they were both like arch nemesis, but they got along, and then they just ended up having their stations were like right next to each other. Like, remember, like,
They're like
Salon
frenemies.
life.
salon life. Yeah.
It's so great.
So anyway, so still, and they would be cordial with each other, whatever. But Nora had a couple of mishaps because, see, this is the thing that I don't like about certain,
She's telling my
hairdressers.
shit.
Yeah.
This is supposed to be your story, not mine.
So the thing is that, like, I don't like hairdressers that, like, force things on a client. I do not like that. Like, the hairdressers that I have had, like, good rapport with that I went back to see for years and years and years are the ones that actually listened to me. Caesar was not that guy. He was not that guy. So,
because they have a lot of ego.
Yes.
So, like most hairdressers, I'm like I'm the one that's like, just tell me what you want, everything that you want, because I don't want to think.
Yeah, like,
The thing is,
No, what if they tell you something that they want and you know it's going to look bad?
She gives her opinion.
Yeah,
That's all
mostly to me it's maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And like also, but like, I will do what I want, but usually people don't like it because it's
Right.
not them, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm not that kind of hair. There are those hairdressers you're like, damn.
You're gonna
Nora.
love it.
But then there's ones like Caesar where you're like, oh.
I mean, okay, let's just put it this way. I am a fairly olive tone skinned person. I'm Puerto Rican, and I wanted ginger hair.
Yeah.
And he was like, of course.
Like a little redder than
No,
like your...
I wanted it
yeah.
like fucking
But that
like
light.
Florence and the Machine, okay?
Yeah.
And like he was like
Fire engine red.
Yeah, no, but like
No, I
yeah,
gotcha.
and like Richie Cunningham shit, and he was
Like
like
Ralph
oh,
Mel.
Yeah,
Ralph Mel.
Yeah, I think
with
that's
no
where my
red
beloved
violet
ginger
in there?
skin.
See, you could do red violet.
No, she wanted red.
No,
ginger.
I wanted Ralph Mel.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
he was like, of course, I can do that. No problem. And I was
Yeah.
like, I think I'm just going to look fabulous. I was 16. I didn't fucking know. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, he tried to do it all in one sitting, and I remember like Joe was totally like, "Man, that's not gonna work." You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, "My God, like too
It's a
bad."
color
Like,
correction.
yeah, because she had nice and easy. That's my style. In
Right.
So like,
She could do it
for
red
people
as a
that
color.
don't
She
know
could
this.
probably do. Sometimes
Right.
box colors not coming out.
Yeah.
I was 16. I
Yeah, we
wanted
don't
black
know.
hair because I wanted to be cool.
Right.
Yeah, we have no fucking idea.
And
about this
I
shit.
would dye my hair the bluest black Wonder Woman color you could find
Right.
out of the box for $3 because I was a teenager
Right.
spending my own money. So this man says, "Of course I can do it." And anyone who knows anything about hair knows it's a process. You have
Yes.
to peel that color out and then like lift it and then like put all the
Yes.
color in. And so what happened was
Yeah.
he just put some bleach in my hair. He didn't care what the fuck it looked like, and I came out looking like a Zizzer Zazzer Zuzz from
Yeah.
Dr. Seuss. Like checkered. My hair was checkered.
I had to look up Zizzer Zazzer Zuzz, and it did kind of look like that. Like
No,
it did.
it did.
She's like
yeah.
a little
Was
bit.
there any
no.
kind of ready
It
part
was,
of
there
red?
was. There was red.
orange, purple, black.
Yeah, there really wasn't any red Ralph mouth.
No.
Yeah.
And
What?
everything-
So
it was
orange at the
ridiculous.
root. It was probably purple
No.
in the mid shade.
No,
Yeah.
it was all over the place.
And her
Oh.
crown was all patchy.
Like a coral snake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wait, her crown
Yeah.
was.
Dad's was really light.
Oh yeah, but the crown in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Back
it's
here.
fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
What about the
so
top?
the embarrassing
Yeah, she had
part
hot
is that I look like a Zizzer Zazzer
Yeah.
Zuzz.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is that Scissor Zuzz?
He's like a checkered character from
Yeah,
Dr.
he has like a
Oh.
mishmash of like
Yeah,
red,
it was all
orange,
over.
and purple.
Uh-huh, it was all over.
I thought that was a new
The
pronoun.
purple because of the blue.
Oh, right.
It might be.
Yeah, it was a mess. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
fucking
fucked up.
Caesar.
So
And
is
then,
this the time where he said he was going to make you look like a flower?
no, that's another time.
Oh, no, you went back to him?
Is this
No, the
Zazzer
flower happened
Zuzz?
first.
Oh.
Yes, that's Sister Zazzer Zuzz. Look how cute.
okay.
But not on
He's
a
cute.
person.
Yeah.
It's cute, you know? So, yes, the flower situation, when he turned her hair into a flower, it was before this mishap.
And I
with the
gave him
color.
another chance.
Gave him another chance because it's bangs and they grew up. You, know
You
what I
gave
mean?
him another chance after the Scissors and
No.
Zuzz?
Yeah.
the flower.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because I remember we came home because he's like, "Oh, I'll make you look like a flower," and you're like, "Nora, what?" We said, "Nora, what happened?" You're like, "It's a
Yeah.
flower."
You just dumped Roundup on your head.
Yeah, that was actually her
Her
head.
bangs were like
Yes.
layered like this. Ridiculous.
It was like Rich Sambora, like coiffed, like yeah, like it was amazing. And she couldn't change it at all because that's how it was cut. Like it was like feathered like that. And I remember we had gone to your ex-boyfriend's house. That's what it was. We were all there. And then you came in after us and he said, she was like, "What the fuck is that?" And you were like, "It's a flower, shut up." You're like,
Yeah, the story of my life.
So then who
It's a fucking
redid the
flower.
hair? Caesar?
I don't know. The point is, I've had hair disasters
yes.
in
And
my
he would
life.
tell you, "I'm a professional."
So what we all want to know is third chance or not.
No, yeah, Caesar's gone. I got Rosa now. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a professional.
And for this, you're
You have to trust me.
And whenever I'm like, I don't know, you're like, listen,
Yeah.
whatever you do, it can never be worse than Caesar.
Yeah, she's always been kind of hesitant. I'm like, yeah, just do whatever you want, you know, whatever. Like, I've already been through the fire. Like, it's the story of my life. Like, anything in my life. Like relationship, I've been through it. Just no problem. Hair, whatever you want. Like, kids, I've had two, I'm fine. Like, pain no gain.
There might be a listener that wants to look like a Zizzer,
That's
Zachary,
true.
and then Caesar is your fucking guy.
That's true. That's true. I
Yeah.
if I have something, someone
Right. I wonder if
Right.
he's still around.
Oh my
No,
god.
that man must be rich at this point, right? Right?
Maybe he's got his coloring down to a pet now for
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
I hope so. Oh my god.
So one other thing that I want to point out, and I want to make this public because I'm really fucking pissed off about it. Fuck you, Arby's. You took Manny's song. Fuck
That's
you.
why I need a Euro song.
I didn't hear that.
I need a
Yes,
Euro. They
it's on
took
the-
it,
it's
and I wrote
on-
Now
that
I'm gonna
shit
see it,
years
I bet.
ago.
Yeah. So if
gotta
anyone
look it
hears it, you better like give
I
Manny
need some
props.
royalties for that shit.
I mean, what the hell? Like, all these motherfuckers, like, taking our shit. Like, what the frack? Like, Battlestar Galactica?
I'm sorry, but I
what
like
the frack?
there's a
We've been
mole
saying
somewhere.
since
Yeah,
we were like
yes,
16.
yes. There's a whole bunch of other shit, too. Like,
There's a mole.
you know, yeah.
We have a
Yeah.
mole.
It's really, really weird. Or, like, cutting things. You know what I mean? Like, like how we say, like,
Oh, like truncating words?
yeah, truncating words, exactly.
Yeah, like
we've
with
been doing that
snaps.
shit. Yeah, we've been doing that shit since we were like 5.
Yeah, we invented it. Fuck you,
Yeah.
everybody. Seriously.
Oh my God.
Like, you know, you're not the only ones that are lazy. Like, we did it first.
So as for Manny's Insight Corner,
Yes.
this kind of piggybacks a little bit on what I had last week. So last week we talked about how in hunter-gatherer societies,
Yeah.
like in order to survive as a group, you had like a small group of people, right? So in order to survive, the information that was coming in from like kind of the leader of the group, you had to just kind of go with, right?
Right.
So instead of like analyzing every little piece of information, you trusted the leader to kind of do that, and then you kind of developed your view of the world based on that, right? So we've kind of carried that into our current things, where whether it's political or whatever it is, you kind of defer to leadership.
Fashion, whatever.
So
yeah.
I was reading something else about hunter-gatherer societies in terms of food intake, and like a lot of times, like during most of human history, we did not eat the way we do now. So right, like
Yeah.
we didn't have like
Processed sugar.
regular food and processed sugar and all that stuff. So the way we eat now is like a blade of grass and like a football field of human history, right? So right now it's like a blade of grass. So our bodies are not at all used to what we're doing now.
Yeah.
So this new thing is, which I tried it for the first time this week.
No
is
way.
You have 2 24-hour periods where you fast.
Damn.
So for example, I had dinner at 8, and then I just didn't eat again until the next day at 8.
That's fucked up.
And I was like, there's no way I'm going to do this. There's no way this is going to happen. I drink water. You can have coffee as long as it doesn't have cream in it. You can drink stuff.
I can't do
And
that
then you
shit.
just wait till the next. You wait till the next dinner, whatever. So what it does is it raises. It tells your body, like your body's used to having periods when you don't eat, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to like hunt together. All
Yes.
So what it does is it forces your body to like eat more fat cells.
Yeah. Hypoglycemia, basically.
Absolutely.
I see my animals do that sometimes. Where they don't, remember they go longer without eating for a little bit. Like it's almost like their body already knows that that's what they
Because
have
it's
to
natural. Because in
do.
the
What are
wild,
you
you don't
doing
always have the food.
Exactly.
Wait, what?
So you do 2 24-hour periods, or you could just do one.
In a month?
No, in a week.
In a week.
What do
You
you
could do once a week.
Fast. 2
Yeah, you just fast.
24-hour periods.
I do that all the time at work.
Well, there you go.
What, for 12
But it has
hours?
to be,
For
but it's
12
got to
hours
be
straight?
24 hours.
Like
so
nothing.
Oh, no, 24
included in
hours.
the sleeping and
So
all that
you
stuff,
eat
because
nothing.
by
Yeah.
that time your body
Resets.
resets, and it's like, oh, we need to start burning fat cells because there's no food coming in right now. But if you wait till like shorter, then your body's just like, oh, we're getting food, we're fine, we're just going to store it, let's store it.
But what about when you start eating regular?
Doesn't that throw it off where it's going to want to store all
Yeah,
that?
I'll let you guys know.
That's
I'll
what
let
we
you guys
always
know. I'm
heard.
going to try it for the next 2 months.
We always
but
heard
this-
that.
I know, it goes against anything that we
Like those
learning.
people, like this
Yeah.
personal trainer that I talked
Bungee
to.
dieting.
And I was like, they want to cut carbs out completely. And he's like, and they're lifting? He's like, yeah, that's bad. Everybody needs carbs.
Especially for
Especially if you're exercising,
Yeah.
and particularly if you're lifting.
Right.
You need the protein, but you need the carbs.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have carbs, for a while, you're going to be like, this is awesome. Then it's going to eat away
Muscle.
at the
Exactly.
muscle.
It'll atrophy.
Yeah. He's like, so that's like stupid.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
know.
like you're working
the bottom
against
line is after 30, no matter how much you
Yeah.
work out,
It's not
the
like
bottom
how it
line
was.
is what you intake.
Yeah.
Like you can work out a lot, but after 30, it's like
Yeah.
really
It's
what
true.
you're eating.
6 packs are made in the kitchen.
Absolutely.
But I saw a documentary on this, actually. I don't remember the name of it because this is 10 years back. But it was actually like a minimalist diet where it's basically like 500 calories a day.
Wow. That's
I
like
don't
a
know if I
crash
do
diet.
that.
Yeah.
It's like an anorectic. It's like the Diego Johns diet.
Yeah.
But they were proving that, like, I mean, the people that were doing it, they slept like 4 hours a night. Like, they were so high motor.
Wow.
Like, they had so much energy. And that's because, I mean, you're just almost not running on fumes, but really at the bare minimum.
Huh.
And I think
And no excess is what you're
Which
saying.
is weird
Exactly.
because
No,
yes,
nothing
remember I
bugged
didn't eat shit
Uh-huh.
at work because we do that all the time at work, and you're
Right.
just like woo, cranking through. But then at the end of the night, it's terrible.
You're like
Yeah.
dead.
But
Right.
you talk about hunter-gatherer society, what's the biggest motivator ever than hunger?
Hunger, absolutely.
It keeps you going more than anything. It'll keep you up at night thinking about, I gotta wake up in the morning and go kill a rabbit. So I think that was their
So it's like
theory
That's a
behind
good
it.
point.
That's what it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you think it's awakening some sort of instinct in
I think
humans?
we're just, our bodies are like learning now how to eat in the way we're eating now.
Like, until
We're not
we
used to it.
adapt.
Like our genetics are just not used to it.
Yes.
And that's why we're getting weight so easily. That's why, it's just hard.
Until we
Exactly,
adapt to
but
having
like
this
this
much.
particular style of eating is awakening something that's innate in all of us.
It's just
And
programmed
that-
already into us that you go through these periods of like not eating, and then you
Mm-hmm.
can eat normally the rest of it. But if you think about it, you're cutting off 24-hour periods. You're cutting off like basically 2 meals every
right.
week, and then over a period of time, you're going to lose weight.
That's
and then
true.
you can eat normally. You could eat the way you normally do. Otherwise,
Right.
It's just if you can commit to that 1 or 2 24-hour periods. I'm going to try it. I'll let you guys know. I'll report back.
I mean, if you don't die first, Jesus Christ.
I mean, it was not hard at all, because especially if you're at work and you're busy,
Right.
you don't even think about it.
That's true. I mean, and
No.
like, I find that a lot of the times, if I'm up on my water intake, as we just heard, and then like, I'm very satiated. I don't
Yeah.
need
Sometimes when you're
to
hungry, you're just
snack
thirsty.
or
Yeah.
anything. Right. Like, I'm very, like, I'm good. Your body, right. Sometimes people think that their body is hungry when they're actually, it's just thirsty. You are dehydrated and you're not, or it's nutritionally void of something. And, like,
absolutely.
you could eat like a cheeseburger and still be hungry. Why? Because you were not supposed to eat a cheeseburger. You were supposed to eat something with more nutritional value to feed yourself.
And more hydration. Too.
And more hydration to feed yourself.
Like
and
celery.
keep-
And that's why we're all
Exactly.
drinking wine right now.
You're right.
Well, yeah, I mean,
And
it's
beer.
Sunday.
Carbs are important. So are you gonna Manny? Are you gonna really document this or keep track of everything? Weight,
I mean, my
sizes, all
boyfriend's
that?
actually the one that brought this up to me, so we both tried it. He totally failed it at the first time.
Oh, shit.
But I was like, oh, that sounds crazy. And then I did it. I was like, oh, I kind of liked it.
Wow.
So I'm just going to do it until it feels good.
So you, like,
and then when it
took to it.
doesn't
Are we
feel
still
good
talking about
anymore,
food?
It feels weird.
Shit.
I had to fast a couple weeks ago. I had an endoscopy,
Oh.
but I was smoking weed at the time, so it was brutal.
Oh, no.
Brutal, because
Why
those
would
like
you do that to
those.
yourself?
Yeah, I know those 2 a.m. like.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm gonna go eat a pint of
everything.
Yeah.
Oh my
Why
god.
does weed make it taste so much better?
It tastes
so
There must be some kind of
The serotonin,
chemical.
maybe?
Is it serotonin? I thought that was
Hypothalamus gland, it agitates. That's what it was.
Hypothalamus.
yeah. That's
Isn't
why.
serotonin a drag queen? It's like a workout drag queen.
And that's what they said. Remember, they were like, with all the stuff that's happening with anxiety, a lot of times it could be the diet.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like
Deficiency vitamins or something like that.
Yeah, vitamin deficiencies, which is probably
So you're like, here's some SSRIs, but bitch,
Yeah.
all you need is like a B12
Yes.
shot. That's bullshit.
It is shocking how, few many times like I've gone to a doctor's appointment and they've not asked me what I eat.
Because
Never.
they don't believe it.
They say they only
They're
Western
they're
medicine doctors
trained.
do
They say
not.
they only
They're
take
like,
one semester of nutrition.
They
Correct.
have
That is
no
insane.
idea.
That's nuts.
And it affects
Nuts.
everything. It does
Yes.
affect your mental health. It
It
affects your
does.
energy. It affects your concentration. It affects everything.
And maybe certain people more than others.
Okay, I was at a marathon yesterday. I walked a 10K. This bitch broke out with a fucking Cheeto bag at
No.
mile 2. I was like,
No
She had it in
way.
her purse.
yeah. No,
Like in her
she-
pocket, she like seriously opened it, was like eating Cheetos.
I was like, we are on mile 2, bitch. Like, we just started.
How long was the marathon?
It was a 10K, so 6.2 miles.
No way.
And yeah. And I was
She
like,
couldn't wait. That's the only thing that was like, oh, come on.
we are on mile 2. We just started. You gotta break out the fucking Cheetos?
You can at least
Yeah.
fast during the 10K. You can go slow, but you can fast.
Oh my god, talk about being thirsty then, because already you're going to be thirsty.
For the record, they were baked Cheetos.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
And then, so everyone's walking around with these cool, like, fanny packs, and
Yeah.
my sister's like, fanny packs are back in style. And I was like, fuck that
Yeah.
shit, I'm not wearing a fanny pack. And a lot of people had water,
Yes.
fanny packs.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
these
yeah, like a
fanny packs
holster
that
type of thing.
hold the-
Mhm.
And so, right around the Cheeto time, I was still reeling about watching the girl open up a big old bag. And it wasn't a mini. It
I'm
was a 25
picturing-
cent one.
I'm picturing a mini.
Was she an
No,
ass?
it was a big
The
yes.
big bag?
Oh my god. Ladling nacho cheese into it.
Well, here's the thing. Was she
Like-
like super muscular, like a toned
No, she
fit
was just
person? like regular or like a skinny fat?
She was like a skinny fat. Yeah.
Because what probably happened is this bitch probably didn't eat anything.
Probably.
And so then you need something that's going to be like,
Well, I don't have a random
like-
Cheeto bag with me.
that's right.
I gotta bring my Cheetos to the 10K.
And they
really?
because if you ate like a
My cheddar's getting low.
it's going to make a dent in that deficit.
Yeah, because she has a deficit and she probably is that
And
all the
Cheeto?
time.
Because of the sodium and all that
Yeah.
stuff that's going to kick in and spike the blood sugar.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's probably what it is because she probably does this all the time. That's probably her regular practice, Cheetos.
But there was a
Like,
Well, she
problem.
wasn't running. She was just walking like with her
Right.
friends, like, ooh.
Oh, so maybe she's not like a workout person.
Anyway, so
That's awesome.
I saw this woman. I was
Pixar
from a-
didn't happen for the next
Yeah,
time.
right?
Yeah.
And like I saw this woman, I was like, man, she's got like I usually wear glasses.
Mm-hmm.
I have my contacts on now, and usually my contacts aren't as good as my glasses, you
Right.
know. And because I knew I'd be out in the sun, I needed sunglasses because I'm old and I'm fucking.
The glasses are better than the contacts?
I like the contacts better.
I like the glasses better. They make my eyes more comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so I was like, man, that girl's got like 2 water bottles. That is crazy shit. Like, oh my God, she must really be thirsty. But she's just walking because I was just walking. And as I got closer, it wasn't 2 bottles. It was 2 babies.
No!
I'm not fucking kidding you. She was like, bang, 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 bang,
Almost
bang, bang, bang.
satchel
They were
things.
like, no, it looked like a fanny pack for 2 babies. And they were just like pouncing on her stomach. And I was like, and it looked like she drugged them. They were like, hanging off the side, half
Like heads
asleep.
lolling to the side. Oh my God.
I don't know. This next generation's gonna have some fucked up shit with their spine because everybody's carrying their babies all
The
fucked up.
scoliosis
It is so
generation.
bad.
That's the name of my next band.
Because they're like this. Yeah, have you seen babies? Do you ever see them like hanging off of the parents like this?
Oh my
Or just like
Like
Yeah.
when they were wearing them as backpacks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Just like they say how hammocks are horrible for your back and
Yeah.
Oh, really?
because it's
yeah,
a
they're really
curl.
bad for your back. Yeah, you're not supposed to be folded up like a card table.
Yeah.
But they're so comfortable.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So we're
Small doses.
yeah. We were talking earlier about the anniversary of the Kurt Cobain's death.
Yeah.
23 years in one day.
23
Wow.
I remember where I was. Like,
Where
it was
were
like- Well, I remember when with the People magazine. Remember the cover? Like with it was April. I think it was April 15th or April. Wait, what's today?
The 9th.
It was the 9th. Yeah, it was April 9th. Yeah, I remember that.
Why?
Yeah,
This is the
Because I remember in my mind's eye, like I was in the lab. Like, in the-
Bring it all around.
I was in the dental lab, and we were like sitting there, and I remember one of the doctors. She was like, "God, can you believe like Kurt Cobain died?" Blah blah. And then somebody from up front like brought the magazine back there, and it was April 9th. Yeah,
It was the day after he died, so that would make sense.
yeah.
I remember it happened. It was like this is
Yeah.
Kurt Loader. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delivered like the most horrific news with the same dryness and
Yeah.
boredom. Yeah.
And I was like, what? Remember that shit?
Why do you think something
Here's
like
the
that
thing,
shocks people?
It wasn't. It was shocking, but there was like some bullshit that led up to that.
Oh, yeah.
That whole
people-
week was a bunch of bullshit.
Yes.
And well, in the Rome incident leading up to it too.
Yeah. So I remember like every time, like MTV News would pull up with some crazy shit.
And it was
Yeah.
it was a lot.
The
Yeah.
Rome
And
incident, all this bullshit, Courtney Love, and then he like died.
Right.
Did they report that he was even missing at the time? I don't know. I don't remember if they did.
No, I don't remember that.
This is what floors me. This is always what floors me. Is that he was basically a legally, missing person.
Right.
For what, 3 or 4 days?
Wow.
No cops
Remember
looking into
that.
it.
Yeah, see, that's fucking
You know,
weird. I
yeah.
don't remember that part.
Yeah.
I don't remember
It should have been news that he was legally missing
Yeah,
as
I
he's
remember
going to
that.
movies with friends and
Yeah.
eating creme brulee or whatever he did at a cafe, supposedly like a day or two before he died.
Oh my God.
And that should have been news that he's missing.
Right.
And enough people if enough people maybe knew that he was missing and that he was in some kind of trouble.
Right.
Unless
Maybe
it
they
was like a normal occurrence for him, and like he did that all the time. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but 3 or 4 days is a long time. It's not like 24 hours because cops will be like, if it's not
I think it's
24
48
hours,
maybe.
Is it
Yeah,
48?
after 48,
Oh, okay.
missing person. I mean,
And this
Maybe
was
it's
also
48.
like in the text, like you couldn't like text anyone. It was
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Wayne
That's true.
Staley used to do that shit. He would just like go to Denny's for like. He would be like, I have a show tonight, but he's like, I have a show tonight.
got a show.
And he'd be like, fuck that. He would just like leave. And he would just be like Wayne Staley.
But he was legally declared missing. It was Courtney Love pretending to be Kurt Cobain's mother.
Oh, see, I didn't know any of
Reported
this
it.
shit.
Yes.
What?
And there was a lot of weirdness. There was a lot of weirdness around that time.
Weird.
There's a lot of weirdness around that time. Like Courtney Love stayed in Los Angeles.
Uh-huh.
right around the time that he died, she all of a sudden had an overdose, was taken to a hospital, and then I think also like maybe even arrested at the time for possible drug paraphernalia. Within a day, she was out of the hospital, and all of a sudden the charges got dropped.
Yeah.
There was no drug paraphernalia, and it was like pretty clear cut that like she needed to be out of state.
She needed an alibi.
She needed an alibi.
That's fucking weird.
I don't like that bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
I don't like it. You know how, like, we talked about the last episode where I have
she's
that
so
where I'm
far
like,
beyond fucked up
I
now,
don't
but I
like
do like some of the albums. But
Well, yeah, but that's
fucked up.
she didn't even
The ones that
write
Kurt
shit.
wrote.
Yeah, I was gonna say she didn't
Oh,
write
that's probably the ones I like.
Yeah.
The ones that Kurt wrote.
Live Through
Yeah,
This.
that's it.
When did Live Through This come
This
out?
is such a great album. That was
came
right
out
when
in
they were touring with
94.
her.
5 days after he died.
Maybe that's why I
Yeah.
like that.
5 days after that album dropped. And she's on tape. There's a recording of her basically saying that at the end of the day, this might not be the worst thing in the world because I'm going to get a lot of publicity. That is on tape. And that was soon after his death.
But like, what benefit would it be for him to die though? Like, what is the?
Because he was trying to divorce her. He called
Also,
And she was always in the shadow.
Be in the shadow.
Always
Yeah.
would be in his shadow.
But what was their lawyer's name? She's the wife of Danny Goldberg, not Marianne Carroll, something Carroll. But she was their lawyer, and he called her, I think within like a couple weeks before that, asking for the most vicious divorce lawyer or divorce attorney that she could get him. Wow. And he also inquired about changing his will, and this is well documented. He inquired about changing his will like a week before he died.
Oh,
that's why.
See,
that's
fucked
her
up.
incentive because
Okay,
they had a
bitch.
prenuptial agreement where if they would have divorced, she would have maybe got $1 million, and that was it. But if he dies, you get
gets
$500 million.
Yeah, you get everything.
You get everything.
And you get all the publicity, and then you're the poor widow, and you're fucking... That lady is just...
I mean, they
looks to
had
me
a
like
toxic relationship.
always she
Yeah.
would be like a conniving, opportunistic fucking...
Because didn't they meet at the Metro? That's what I heard.
Yeah.
They met at the Metro. And
I've
they got
heard
in,
there's,
a
like,
fist fight.
3 or
I don't know
4.
if it's an urban legend.
Yeah.
But they said the
fist
first night
fight?
they got no fist fight and then they had sex.
Mhm.
Is the urban
Well, I
legend.
mean, some people think that's hard.
Everett True was he's a very well-known English music journalist, and he describes that scene of like Everett True and Courtney Love were on the floor, fake fighting, and then Kurt walked in and was like, "Oh, I'll just jump in on this," and that's like how they met supposedly.
And then they had sex.
Yeah, but you brought up Billy Corgan earlier.
Yes.
Supposedly the whole Rome incident where he, tried to kill himself, which has been,
right.
very much, disputed, was that I guess she was.
Oh, God, she was involved in that shit, too?
Well, she was in the United States while he was touring in Europe.
Yeah.
He invited her out because he missed her so much, and this was going to be his big chance to get everything going with the marriage again. I guess he ordered like dozens of roses, got champagne for her, even though he didn't drink.
Right.
And I think that's when he kind of figured out that she was banging Billy Corgan the entire time. It's well documented about that.
Yeah. He'd be like, I forgot about all that. Yeah, that was like man, that is fucked up. And what the hell was all the shit with El Duce?
Wait, who's El Duce?
Oh, gross, man.
You don't know who El Duce
He was in the
is?
Mentors. Is that what the band?
Yeah, I believe so.
They are.
He's a punk rocker.
Make like Gigi Allen look like a saint?
He looks like GGL.
Yeah,
Gigi Allen's fucked
is
up.
fucked. Oh,
Gigi
that's
Allen,
like a
I don't think
whole other
anybody could top.
podcast episode.
I don't think anybody could top Gigi Allen because he was just like, boo, like fucking nuts. But I think that El Duce would probably come close. I mean, gross. I mean, like
Well, that's the name of like Mussolini in
advocating,
World War II.
right? Yes,
He was like the
That
biggest,
was
like the
probably,
most
because
trailer park
he advocated rape.
nasty.
Yeah.
Advocated.
Yeah, he was like the girls in my show.
Yeah.
They like being raped. They fucking like it.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Gross.
This
Yeah.
boy.
Loaded.
If you're into the role play,
This is
I mean,
different.
if it's consensual.
Yeah,
it's
this is
like rape
different.
play,
If
but
you-
like if
He honestly did look like.
to this.
How did he?
Look
How
at
did
me, Manny
he
trying to
factored
justify
in
it.
because he
How did he
said, I
factor
thought
in?
he said she called me because she offered me money to wet Kurt Cobain.
And then El Duce died. He got hit by a train. Like a week after he said that.
Well, it wasn't a week after so much. Well, I think it was a week after he said it, but then he also passed a lie detector test issued by like the most prominent lie detector test issuer in the world. Where like he's like only like the guy that issued that test was only like one of 3 people that actually holds up in court that they issued in court. Yeah. And he came and it was like 99.9% that he was likely telling the truth. And the story is that I guess he was at a bar. She pulled up in a limo. He went outside. He was sitting on the bench. She came out and basically said, I'll $50,000 to go whack Kurt.
And I'd be like, bitch, you got $500 million.
Yeah.
Well, I guess other people, not only did he pass the lie detector test, but other people corroborated that he immediately came in the bar and was like, you wouldn't believe this. She just fucking offered me $50,000 to whack Kurt. So other people can corroborate it as well.
Fucking hell, dude.
And she was on lots of drugs. She was on, I mean, she still is, but like, she was on so many drugs.
But still, if I want a bunch of drugs and I'm like, yo, man, can you go kill so-and-so?
No.
Damn.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta be fucked. She was planning that before.
Yeah.
If this is true.
If it's true.
But she's also never been prosecuted, so.
Well, she has ends. She has, I guess, connections with the Seattle PD, and it's not too far. You don't have to stretch too far to really make that connection. The most shocking fact of that entire case is that he had 3 times the lethal dose of heroin in his system at the time. Yeah. And you can see the pictures that they just released 2 years ago. I think it was the 20th anniversary.
How did he shoot himself with that shotgun?
Not only that, but he shot himself up with 3 times the lethal dose, took the needle out of his arm, took the tie off of his arm,
the tourniquet.
put everything away. He also then, in that shotgun, he fully loaded it with three shells.
Okay.
So what were you going to do with the other 2 shells? And they showed the bag of shells next to his body like he just did it then. Why are you fully loading a shotgun to blow your brains out?
Yeah. You never know. Like,
there was something where he was wearing shoes.
That's the thing, because usually they'll use their toe. Like, how are you going to fucking reach?
Yes.
All the way over there.
My dad was looking at a picture.
Yeah, he's like,
he's wearing Chuck Taylors.
Yes, and there was like somebody talking. They were like, and then he found that he killed himself with a whatever shotgun. And my dad's like, wait a minute, what shotgun? And then he was like, that thing, like the barrel is far.
Yeah.
So you'd have to do it with your toe, but he has shoes on. How the fuck did he reach? Like the impact.
I think some people can dispute that he used. You
like
could reach.
branch?
He could use his hand. Some people can dispute that. But the most shocking detail is with the dosage of heroin is that it is the first recorded suicide of this manner where somebody had that much heroin, had a lethal dose of heroin in their system, and then also committed suicide with a
shotgun.
It is the first time in the history of the world that has happened.
On, man.
Yeah, and
this is totally the world's dumbest criminal.
We are all very open-minded, like, it could happen.
Right, yeah,
but like,
there's certain things you're like, come on.
Yeah. There's no way. I mean, like, even after a couple of drinks, I'm like, I'm not doing that shit. Like, if you imagine.
They feel good. That's why it's so rare. Is a junkie.
Because heroin, when you're on it.
You got your fix. You get the warm, fuzzy blanket around your body. You're not looking to blow your brains out.
And the way you die is by ODing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you want more of it.
So if he would have just been...
Or you just took too much.
And
you die.
And there was a half drink of a can of root beer next to his body. They never tested the root beer to see if maybe somebody drugged it. When there's been a long history of Rohypnol being all over that house, being all over Courtney Love at all times. That's what the Rome incident was supposedly he took 60 Rohypnol, individually packed blister packs Rohypnol, and they never even tested the root beer. They cannot find any legible. They can't find any legible prints on the gun. So this man bought the gun, stored it in the house, went inside the house, brought it outside, loaded it, and you can't find one discernible print on that gun.
Yeah, that's fucking weird. Like somebody wiped it.
Not even his?
Not even his.
Yeah, that's weird.
Not even his.
That's weird.
Now what about the fact that he died at 27 and a half, right? He was like 27.
27, yeah.
Now what about the fact that all these people died at 27? Janis
Jimi
Joplin,
Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix.
Like, it was his time, like, don't even question
Well,
it.
like, what is it with these really big heights that happens to? Like, what's her name? Amy Winehouse.
Some people
Jim
believe that
Morrison,
it's an astrological thing. You know,
that
like
it's like the Saturn return. And like, but what is it? John Lennon too? No, John Lennon was older.
John Lennon was like
John Lennon didn't. Yeah, he got killed.
Yeah, he got killed.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it interesting that like all of these really genius people died at 27?
That made a huge impact on and caused ripples and caused waves and caused people to think differently and caused people to maybe look at something in a different way that no one ever thought before.
And I remember that being a volatile time in my life.
25 for me was like that was like the insane.
Horrible, right?
Yeah.
So
well, even the mid
you are going through weird changes.
You are.
Yeah.
Well, astrologically, they say that that's the part of your life where you're figuring out your place in the universe.
Oh, yeah.
And you're trying to fulfill your destiny.
Yeah.
But maybe these people already did fulfill that destiny and they were done.
That's true.
On some metaphysical level.
Oh, that's weird.
They say on a physiological level too that's at the age where you start to get old. Those are those are the years when the hangovers start to hurt a little bit more. You can't go like you used to. So
mental capacity starts to dwindle then.
Like starting to take its toll on you. Yeah.
It's weird.
At 27.
27, girl. And it's like, because we talk about that in terms of teeth all the time. Like, we beat evolution. Lifespan of a human was what? Like 30? You were Veach?
Yeah.
Like, these teeth have to last us to 90 years old? You know what I mean? Like, you know, like by then, like
Right.
16 was the last tooth that we get, is the wisdom tooth.
Yeah.
And then if you were going to live 15 more years, then you're fine. But now people are 80, 90 years old, and teeth all busting left and right. Well, yeah.
Unless you're British or...
They would argue that.
See, but bad-looking teeth don't necessarily mean bad teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
But-
It's just a functional aspect, or just, discoloration, whatever, yeah.
Yeah.
I heard, but I also heard that, and I don't know if this is true or not, maybe you guys have heard this, that, like, basically, like, our organs are only, like, our body is really only built to go maybe 50 years, and then
Right.
everything you get after that is just pure medicine and chemistry.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's what's making everything,
Yeah.
everybody, like,
Holy
live longer.
shit! I only got 9 years left!
Yeah.
Wait, at 50 you're basically like as
Think
good as
about
dead?
it. Yeah, think about it. Like, before antibiotics, before, like, all this medication. Like, you know, people were dying way younger.
Well, yeah, but penicillin, like,
Oh,
huge made all the
yeah.
difference.
Oh my
Lipitor is
The cholesterol.
is keeping people alive. Because they really think, because this is the thing, like, you know, we're all, like, worried about cancer, we're worried about heart attacks. You know, in my theory on cancer is, like, maybe that's just what we all died from, but we didn't have a name for it.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Maybe
it's
that's all it
all-encompassing, too. I mean, there's
What
so
is
many versions of it.
what is the age that cholesterol starts after 30?
It can be any.
It could be
Yeah,
any
depending on
because
your diet,
yeah,
yeah.
it could be having
And-
genetic just
I
predisposition.
think it's around,
Genetic.
I think hitting 40 is when,
Yes,
if
I
that
would say
plaque
yes.
really starts building up and you can start facing some issues.
God, I told him to watch cholesterol, and that's what my family says.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, because of the cheese or whatever. Because they had told me that, and I'm like, what? I don't even eat like a bunch of fried shit. Imagine people that do.
Yeah. It's interesting because, like, if you look at me, you'd be like, oh, she's probably unhealthy, but I'm not. All my
No,
blood levels and
that's not
everything
true.
are, like, healthy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a healthy person on
Right,
the inside,
right.
but my family all has, like, I mean, God, I feel like a golden girl talking about this. Like my sciatica. But like my whole family has a predisposition for,
Blood pressure. Yeah.
cholesterol, diabetes. Because
Diabetes.
like I said, our fucking diet is like carbs with carbs on top of carbs.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of dairy and everything is extra. It's like big, like in Texas. Everything is extra portions and they're just piling on.
Yeah.
Me, as clothes-wise, it's beyond frustrating because I'm 6'1", but I have a very somewhat skinny frame.
Yeah.
And larges fit me like a tent because that is the new large.
See, but back in the day, they used to like actually have clothes
Oh, yeah.
made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you
Right.
would have them custom.
Yeah.
And everybody looked nice.
But you have long limbs, so you probably have to fit
That's
your
why
limbs.
I can't do mediums fit. I'm like basically like a medium tall, but it's so like I've gone to lengths where I don't know if it's one of those internet stylists that I have to do to, so I have to go through so I can get actually fitted clothes, which is
Really?
ridiculously expensive, but I had to go to that length
Jeez.
because I would just go to Kohl's and just cry.
Yeah.
That
Like,
like,
not
why
even
do I
Mark
even come here? And,
Anthony?
why do I even come here anymore?
Mark Anthony's really skinny and tall. He can't suit you, Coles.
Oh, I think it's time for Rosa's segment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
We're ready for
Oh,
your
yeah.
segment,
The
Rosa's
entertainment.
Yeah, but this is kind of like
segment.
dark.
Yeah.
Well,
But
let's
I like-
go for it. I mean,
well-
we're drunk enough.
This is on TonyOrtega.org.
Who's Tony Ortega?
It's a website.
Is
Or
Tony
taco
Montana?
shell company.
Yeah. So I just like, you know how I am. I'm like ADD. So I'm like, like ADHDing, and I see stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, Beyonce's having a baby, blah 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 blah. All this so like.
And then she'll be like, what the fuck is this?
And then I was like, what? So apparently, Danny Masterson of that
Who is?
70s show, you know, the redhead kid,
yeah.
is
Shooting
like
the
being
girls.
investigated for like 3 counts of rape
And sodomy.
and sodomy.
Well, if you're gonna do it right.
So
Shit. It's Scientology has to do with this.
because you know that Lisa Remini,
Yeah,
Yes.
Remedy.
that has that
Oh,
show.
yeah, she escaped, right?
Uh-huh.
So I guess that show made the victims come forward.
Right.
What? And at that time, the church was like, these victims are saying that they wanted to keep that on the hush hush.
The church was making them.
Well,
Keep
hold
it
on.
silent.
Is
Well,
he a
help pay them all.
Scientologist?
Yes.
Let's tell
He
us
is
that.
He's a
Hardcore.
Scientologist.
Well, they're all hardcore,
Yeah.
but
Married to Bijou Phillps. Like, who fucking marries Bijou Phillps?
He's married to Bijou
Mary's
Phillps.
Bijou Phillps. Seriously. You gotta be fucking crazy to do that shit.
Wow.
That bitch is crazy. He's fucking out here butt fucking people.
When did this occur?
Wait a minute.
Okay,
This is
but it's not consensual.
It
I was
happened.
gonna say, like, we here at the Lab Podcast do,
Yes.
advocate all things butt. So, like, we're not saying butt fucking is bad, but
But
for
consensual.
Yeah,
It
consensual
must be
fucking.
consensual.
Yeah.
No, this
kind
was
of the
like
important part.
it started like in 01. Like from 01 on, like a lot of these victims, like one of them was somebody that he apparently dated and she was
Oh, my
unconscious and he was like
he totally, like, Bill Cosby that
he
shit.
totally like Bill Cosby that shit.
I
And
love that that's a
then
verb now.
All the mighty have fallen.
And so,
Wow.
but tell us more about this guy. I don't know enough about him, just that he was on a show, but that doesn't tell us. Like, we as a society think, like, well, they're on a show, their lives must be parallel to the characters that they play on the show.
Danny Masterson?
Yeah, like, what's kind of special about him? Just that
He started acting at a very, very young age, I think, though. I think he was...
He's a child actor.
I think he was a child
Yeah.
actor, yes.
Yeah, does
Yeah.
this go back to the Haim
He was-
thing?
Oh,
Was he
yeah,
on
like the
Roseanne?
Haim
Was he on Roseanne?
oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was,
So he was in-
Darlene's boyfriend?
Yes!
David?
No, I'm thinking of David. That's
no,
what it was.
David, but there was
He
some, I
looks
remember him
smart.
being on there. Am I right? Or am I just mixing him up
You're
with David?
probably mixing him up with
Because he kind of
David.
looks like David from back then.
Let's see what this crazy motherfucker's been on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was.
And so,
I know he's
okay,
been on other things.
I mean,
Yeah, he started acting at 4.
They're nuts, child actors.
See, and that-
He did a lot of
Crazy.
commercials that I remember in
Think
the
about being
90s.
thrown into that life, that young, and developmentally, like, going through that and trying to, hormonally...
He's one of those actors that you like see
all the time.
Yeah.
But you
all
don't-
the
yeah,
time.
uh-huh.
He's like a
I always tell him I'm
staple.
there.
I'm sure you've seen him in other things. Like he just like comes up.
No.
Really? I feel like he's one of those people. Like who else is like that? You're like, oh yeah.
Like that guy.
Yeah.
Remember they used to have that segment on, like, Bravo, That Guy Tuesday?
They had a whole movie about that.
Yeah.
But you hear things like Corey Feldman's what they're
Yes.
saying, and with
We're
Charlie
obsessed
Sheen's
with
history.
that.
No, but I mean,
And
what
Courtney and all that stuff.
what is happening to these kids
Yes.
in this situation?
Oh, God, I can
Well,
only imagine.
oh my god, that apparently, like according to Corey Feldman, the molestation.
Yeah.
It's rampant.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he will not shut
Oh,
up.
that's like
I
a
love
whole
Corey
other
Feldman.
segment. I was like, obsessed with that.
That man, he is not going to
Remember
shut up.
that? So there was an
Was it
agent.
Brian Singer? What was his name? What was the director of X-Men that got
Bryan Singer, right?
Was it Brian Singer?
There is. They started with this agent of DiCaprio,
Oh, my God.
Tobey Maguire, and like somebody else. They grew up. And then there was Christopher Petit, but I don't know.
Yeah.
He was part of that group too that ended up dying of a heroin overdose. He was like kind of more B. But those two had this one agent who was like he's been arrested for molestation.
That's great.
I remember
That's
when
great.
Christopher Petit died.
He was like a
He's
B actor.
so B.
kinda,
He's like
yeah, but he was
Z.
like, he was all
He's
mixed
like
up.
Andita. He's like Z.
Oh, Manny.
So when he died, the director wrote this story about him, and I was reading it, and I still. This is before I even knew what this was like in '98. You know, like you're reading it, I'm like, oh yeah, and then he's like, and then blah blah blah, and Christopher Petit came. And like, it was like going, I was like, oh, that's sweet. And then it started getting weird. Like it was like his blonde hair would like cascade over his right eye. I swear to God. I was like, what?
Yeah.
12-year-old.
Basically, yes. It was like he would sit there with his long legs. Swear to God, I'm not even like exaggerating. Gross.
But back to the day. So okay, that was it. The first count was in 2001.
Yes.
Are
and
these
then he
kind of
had
spaced out?
They're spaced out. So now they're coming. So it's 2001. Then there's one that's 2003,
Yeah,
4.
Yeah.
That so these are just coming, but they're not. They're still.
You're starting to come forward mostly because of that Leah Remini. Because she
yes.
like started to.
I didn't see the show. What did she talk? I mean, I don't really know much about
She was
Scientology.
attacked.
She was
And-
in Queen of Kings.
Yes,
Yeah.
Queen of Queens.
Yeah.
And
Saved by
she
the
was
Bell is how I was
Saved by the
introduced to her.
Bell, right.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? Was she?
Uh-huh.
During that once where they were at some beach resort or whatever, and she was Zach's side piece. for
Oh
her.
my
Yeah.
God, what a crack!
Oh
No, but
my god.
So right now there's at least.
she was also attacked by Masterson, according to what that said there too. Like she was, yeah.
Well, okay, hold on. Just
minute?
let's talk to me like I'm stupid. Like, okay, so
Oh, hell no.
she was part of this group,
The Scientologists.
She was a Scientologist.
and she got attacked, physically attacked.
Yeah.
Okay, and so then she just said, "Fuck you guys, I'm leaving."
And mentally abused, was always ripped away from her family and her kids, and they milked her for I don't know how many millions of dollars.
Yeah, because they keep having donating to the...
Because you have to buy the books.
Yes.
You have to keep buying, like, these manuals, and you donate all this money.
Supposedly she was just like rude to somebody at a party or called somebody out or was critical of Tom Cruise, and because of that she was ripped away from her family for I think like 3 months, paid $1 million to be reformed. Like it's hardcore cult stuff. Yeah.
Oh, you can't say anything.
What is
You can't say shit about Tom Cruise.
Like, what is that exactly?
It's basically L. Ron Hubbard, who was
like people joke
a science
about
fiction author,
Yeah.
who was basically trying to figure out a way to not have to pay taxes on the books he wrote anymore. Came
So
up
he
with
made
this
a
whole
religion.
religion. Yeah,
And people are, like, following it to a T.
yeah. And
What's the religion?
they believe, and I
It's
think
another planet.
you have to pay, I think, like at least $1 million to even get to the point where they explain
What it is.
story.
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
secret. It's
I remember when I was a kid, dude, I would totally be a victim of Scientology. When I was a kid, like, it was like the commercials, remember that was like
it
Yeah.
grabs
It's
you.
like Diana.
It's like,
by L. Ron Hubbard.
Yeah.
pick up a copy today. I was like, fuck yeah, what the hell is that shit?
No, it's-
Yeah.
I
It was
thought
like
it was
exploding. Like on the
basically
volcano.
saying that we're extraterrestrial.
Yeah, we are blown out of
Yes.
a volcano
Yes.
from some
Yeah. Yeah.
distant planet.
I mean, I
Julia
believe that we have extraterrestrial
Back in-
roots.
Because I entertain those
Back.
thoughts too.
I totally
Yeah.
believe that.
Back
That's
as a
not topic for next
Scientologist?
podcast.
Hardcore.
That's right, because his sister,
He's married to Giovanni Ribisi's sister, and they're all.
and that's the one you
I
think
love
is cute.
Giovanni
He's a Scientologist too.
Oh, fuck. He just fucked it up for me.
Why do you like on Scientology?
God damn it.
Is the question here. You're like attracted to Scientology.
Son of a bitch.
Giovanni Ribisi's
Is it
sister, Marissa Ribisi,
Yeah.
they're a Scientologist.
She's married to Beck.
He's a Scientologist.
Oh, Beck?
Yeah,
Too?
Beck is
God
yeah.
damn
If
it.
they say
God.
Jack White, I'm gonna be like, oh.
I know. Yeah, hell
No, Beck and Jack White are very good friends, actually.
That's what I
Fuck
need.
that
So I'm like,
shit.
oh my god, he's so close.
So he gets
I am
sucked into
obsessed
that.
with Jack White.
Yeah.
too.
I am obsessed.
Me too. So I love it.
Great.
No.
They're
It's amazing.
Like they are.
Talk about someone who inspired a new thought and a new generation.
And he
That
doesn't give
was,
a
that was
shit.
closest since
Oh, he
Nirvana
was.
that
Yeah,
he was
done
up.
something
Or-
different.
The
And he doesn't
modern.
give a
He's,
shit.
and I know
He's a bitch,
he
too.
loves the Melvins. I think he's basically, if you even look at his mannerisms on stage, it's very Buzz Osborne. I think he's trying to be the new
Absolutely.
wave, Melvins.
And he's got like 10 bands. Not like he's got so many bands.
I know. Wait, I was obsessed. I got to
Did
go.
you see them at the Aragon in 2003?
No, I didn't get to that
Me,
show.
remember I dragged you because you didn't want to.
Yeah, and then I loved
hated
them.
on my Jack White.
Yes, and you know
Yeah.
why? Because they were infiltrated. I don't
No,
do
but I was like, they're
well.
really fucking
Wait
good.
a minute, I
You're
don't
talking about
do
White
well.
Blood Cells,
No.
one album.
I don't do well when things are overly saturated. It almost like I have this reaction, this visceral reaction to like reject it like right away because
when they get
it's
mainstream?
so mainstream. Like, and it's not just because they're
But
mainstream.
they were that
No,
one weird
was
band that
everywhere.
became mainstream,
Yeah.
and you're like,
And they weren't supposed to be.
why?
That
Yes.
whole group of the
Yeah.
the Hives and
Strokes.
the Strokes,
The
and they were the only one that
Yeah.
survived because they
Yeah.
were the realest of all of them. That's
But
why they
then
survived.
We went to go see them at the Aragon, fell in love like within the first 10 minutes.
What? Man,
I got to
band.
meet-
Yeah, it was seriously. I was like, man, this is fucking
It
cool.
was different.
Like,
It's
I
something
really
different.
liked it
It's
a lot.
eccentric, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and then just everything. You know, like
The energy and the vibe. I see
everything.
I
Like what
really
was playing
enjoy raw
and the way.
music.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Have you got into their earlier stuff?
I mean, I've listened to it, but like, yeah,
Earlier.
Yeah, like just still and all that, like earlier.
I got to go on his tour bus with just him.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Was he a
Oh,
bitch?
did you rate
No.
Really?
Yeah, see, that's great. Rosa keeps saying that he reminds her of me. And what's weird is he was born in Michigan. He was born July 10th. I was July 11th. We're the same
Yeah.
year. We're probably the same fucking birth chart.
Like, you know, like he's a bitch. But he's like nice, but I feel like he's a bitch.
He's
Remember
kinda
when you're
crazy.
like, he's
Yeah.
kind of crazy. Remember the Von
Eccentric.
Bondies
He's eccentric.
dude?
I bet
Was
he's
that-
eccentric.
Beat the fuck out of the Von
Oh,
Bondies guy.
I thought he was
all
an
over
asshole.
that.
That's the thing is I would never mess with him.
Yeah, see?
Me neither.
You saw that guy's face
Fuck
from the Von
because
Bondies.
Jack
It would
White
beat you
looks
a
like
pulp.
me. People say that about me. They were
Cancers
like,
do that.
You're the
You
type
don't
of
say
person.
shit, you don't say
They were
shit,
like,
you don't
haha,
say shit.
you're so quiet.
Yeah.
You're this. And then they were like,
And then
you're
you
not
blow up.
quiet. You're
Yeah.
the type of quiet that just like once you get mad, you're gonna like kill people.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he probably.
Like you let it pass, you let it pass, you let
That's
it slide,
the worst
you let it
kind.
slide.
You should just let it out.
And then,
because then you start doing
and then the
super
claws
crazy
come
shit,
out.
like beating the fuck out of the Bombani's guy.
Mm-hmm.
I was standing outside one of his many bands, a Dead Weather show, at the Vic. And I was wearing a T-shirt that I bought at Third Man Records in the very infancy of Third Man Records. I was there in 2009 when it was just a shop with some 45s and some T-shirts. But I bought a T-shirt that was just exclusive to that shop, apparently. So I was standing outside waiting for traffic to clear out from the show, and he whizzed around in an SUV. And he came out, and I was smoking a cigarette. I'm like, Jack, will you sign my shirt? And he wanted to just keep walking. I said, come on, man. I bought it at Third Man. And he looked back, mumbled something to his helper, and then got on his bus. His helper came to me and said, come with me. And I got walked on to Jack White's bus.
Hell no.
And it was just me and Jack White. And then I got on, and I'm like,
Did you get hard?
no, but I was like, heart racing 1,000 beats per minute, was completely tongue-tied. And I was like, when I got up there, I'm like, I'm sorry, man. I asked you to sign my shirt, and I don't even have a pen.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I got one around here. It's just me and him.
Yeah.
And his bus is nicer than like any kitchen I'll ever own. Granite countertops and all that stuff. And I watched them rummage through drawers to get a Sharpie.
Right.
Came up to me, signed my shirt, shook my hand, said thanks a lot for coming out. I said, basically like my friend's gonna kill me if I don't ask you like what your favorite Captain Beefheart song is. And he said, well, you should know. And then I was like, okay, because I was just so completely just frozen, and we shook hands again, and then I walked up. And I have somebody, the person I was with took a picture of me walking on the bus, and they took a picture of me walking off the bus, and I had that all in a very professionally framed.
Oh, that's so cool.
With a T-shirt of me walking on and off the bus and everything. It's it's like something that like I should probably insure because it means that much to me.
I like him, even though like he may be a bitch, but I still like.
He's a bitch, but he's like a different kind of bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a big.
He's like the kind of bitch you want to know.
He's like the kind of bitch
He's
you want to
sober.
get.
He's never smoked weed
He's
once
the kind
in
of
his life.
bitch. He's the kind of bitch.
Yeah.
It explains a lot that he's never smoked weed once in his life.
Huh.
And that explains a lot.
Yeah.
He had his own upholstery company at the age of 18.
Remember they would put the notes in the couches?
In
Yeah, she told me
records.
that story.
And he had his own mortgage, right? He was just like, he's one of those just insanely driven people.
So,
Yeah.
oh my god, we could have a whole other
Yeah,
podcast.
we should probably wrap
Yeah, because I'm like,
But
We
Yeah.
should save our wad for the
Yeah.
next show.
Yes.
Jeff
Because you
White
know
was
we'll,
To be
another
continued.
obsession.
we'll end up having
Big
Brian back on
obsession.
for sure. You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
we'll talk about it's going to be 90s themed. And
Ooh,
you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be
I'll
awesome.
get my best choker out.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. That's
All
what we should
right.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll
we're
bring
gonna-
some runts, or what was the,
Yeah.
no, Razzle Dazzle.
Wait a minute, you gotta cover the next
Was it
90s, because I feel like we're like in
Yes.
the heart of the 90s.
The heart of the 90s.
The heart of the 90s. Well, thank you again, Brian, for being on the show.
Oh,
and
yes.
anyone
It was a blast.
following him at Brian Picl, BrianPicl on Twitter. Follow him, follow us, share, rate, review, all that fun stuff.
Yes. Labpodcast.com.
The local ass bitch podcast.
Local ass bitches. Ciao for now.
Ciao for now. See you next time.
Thank you for visiting the lab. Log on to labpodcast.com for a complete listing of all episodes and get up close and personal with each lab partner. Rate, review, and share us with your friends, and subscribe where all podcasts are heard: SoundCloud, iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play Music. For pics and fun videos, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.